Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for January 26th through February 2nd, 2026. Wow, what an intense year so far, and we're only just getting into it. We started out this year with our personal planets coming into conjunction with each other, and we started at the end of December to feel the Sun and Venus coming together. So the whole month of January, we've been feeling our personal planets one by one, making these conjunctions, coming together as a group, coming into square with Jupiter in Cancer and opposition with Chiron in Aries. This is just one chapter of this long initiation story that's being played out by the clumping up of our personal planets at this very powerful moment in astrology. So the final planets to come together, which is very fitting, Mercury and Venus. So Mercury catching up to Venus, and they're here at 15 degrees of Aquarius. Most of the personal planets met up in the sign of Capricorn. The Sun and Mercury came together on the 21st, moving over into Aquarius together. And so now Mercury catching up with Venus at almost the middle of Aquarius. And finally, he can tell her what he's figured out, according to his last retrograde that was in Scorpio and Sagittarius. So ever since then, we've been on this deep journey and initiation into the separateness of ourselves with Jupiter retrograde, but into the joining together of our pieces with our personal planets coming together. It is an incredibly powerful, epic journey culminating this month, this week, with our personal planets coming into conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. So we've had one by one, our personal planets came together in a clump, and they came into that Jupiter square Chiron earlier in the month. And now that has let off as of the 18th, the 19th, 20th, coming out of the energies of our personal planets in that T-square. That square is so intense. Jupiter square Chiron, we've been feeling this since the beginning of September 2025. We don't even know what it's like to exist without this square in our lives. And it's intense because Jupiter in Cancer brings this expansion and amplification of the mother energy. But when Jupiter turned to retrograde, it was like all the goodness, all the true, all the knowing in our heart of mother walking with us moment to moment, day by day, all the resources, all the friends, all the connections, just going out with the tide, you know? And it's just this feeling, very powerful, with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, speaking to regrets and the past and trying to clean up where things have been confusing. And so there's a lot of, it's been a very powerful emotional time all the way back to the month of November when, well, it was the second part of October, that we had the first Jupiter square Chiron. Jupiter in Cancer was then direct, Chiron retrograde. And they came together in Chiron, in those Cancer and Aries, cardinal signs, and then came together again in the second part of December. But in between there, our personal planets in November came into, this is when they started lining up and started to kind of get into gear, into this procession that we've been experiencing. And so in November, they came into conjunction with Black Moon Lilith and entered into the grand water trine that included Jupiter and Saturn, our changemaker planets, our generational markers. Now, generational markers in a water trine with Black Moon Lilith says it's time to heal and discover the truth. Discover the truth and heal past and regrets. Perhaps supernova souls are mostly our regrets would be completely eliminated if we saw the true history and the true identity of who we are and the roles we've played. This is the whole matrix is designed, this whole system, the lower matrix designed for one thing, to keep us from knowing who we are, really, in our power and our technology, what we've already experienced and achieved in this planetary evolution. You know, this cannot be stolen for us, perhaps from us forever, for a time perhaps, and that time has come to a close. Are you feeling this? This is what the astrology is saying. And so in a way, the personal planets in November in that grand water trine with Black Moon Lilith were like, it was a glimpse of like underneath the rubble and the pain of the past and the distortions. There's a jewel, a gem that reminds us of the original dream and why we came and what we're even doing here. So that grand water trine was like going into the darkness enough to see clearly that there's a way, way, way bigger picture to this story. And it's time to turn the wheel of time. That's what Jupiter and Saturn in the water trine, that, it's not going to be pretty cleaning up all of the lies of the past, and yet it's time to get moving and it can all be harmonized. So this was our kind of like excitement for the journey ahead, getting the personal planets, all parts of ourselves being like, oh, there's more to this story, and I'm excited to get back on my quest, right? Now, then we had the Mercury retrograde in there, which is part of why all the planets lined up in the way that they did. The Mercury retrograde going back into Scorpio 3 times into that grand water trine, and then back into Sagittarius, 3 squares with Uranus. And this is the energy coming up. So this is kind of like looping back around, because all of our personal planets this month, the next chapter in February of the journey of their initiation, is to come into squares with Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus. But get this, Uranus is just about to turn direct in Taurus on the 4th of February. Now, this is a big move, and this comes right after Neptune moves over into the sign of Aries, over the Aries point, a rebirth of the original dream. All of this is culminating at one time so that we don't miss the message. And in a way, it's like I could talk for hours about all of these things that are happening, but on the other hand, you don't need an astrologer anymore, because all of the pieces are coming together, and you could just look at one little thing that's happening in the sky and it will tell you the whole story, that we are rebirthing our whole reality and nobody knows what it's going to look like. And so hold on to your hats, because here we go. It's a magic carpet ride, and it is kicking back into gear. Mother Dragon waking up, the creation forces of Earth returning to us, because we demand and command that they come back into our possession. We, as the rightful owners, the rightful inheritors, those that were there from the beginning of the inception of Earth, the conception, the beautiful dream of the ascension planet that she came here to be. And we've held those codes for her, and we almost lost them, but she's still got them. And so we're reawakening. She's awakening, we're awakening. And it's so crazy how much the more intuitive you get, the more work you do, the more presence, the more meditation, you find that it really is true that our body is her body. And that as we work on our physical body and our field and our understandings and our autonomy, the biggest thing right now, when we work on our sovereignty, our autonomy, our energy field, stop letting the monsters feed. I know we don't even know that how they've hooked in all these hidden chords and traumas, right? But it's like there's just this deafening resonance of a demand and command within the SuperNova soul to that it must be made right again. That all of those healing centers, 100,000 times over, that have been stolen from us must be reinstated. It's not enough for us to say, stop the madness. There must be reparations. There must be a return of what has been stolen. But in order for that to happen, we have to feel worthy. And here we are with Uranus, the issues around Uranus turning direct. In Taurus, Uranus had to go back into the end degrees of Taurus into the deepest, darkest places where we don't feel worthy, meeting our most lower self, like the part of ourselves that we detest the most because we have to integrate it. And it's like this full of remorse and regret. I think this is a combination of the energies of the Saturn and Neptune in Pisces and Uranus and Taurus, and that whole energy of all the planets in Mercury retrograding back into Scorpio and Black Moon Lilith there. And so a huge shift when Black Moon Lilith recently moved over into the sign of Sagittarius. We're coming out of these dungeons. We're coming out of this, but we also need to face the important and unavoidable chapter in awakening of this self-remorse. That's like, can you meet your true self, see yourself as a part of the one without having to face how far we got off of that path? And for supernova souls, it can be the littlest things in life that can trigger this feeling, regret and remorse and failure. But if you only knew what you've accomplished, there's no way you could feel that way. And this is what's being corrected with Uranus turning direct. And the interesting part about this is that we've got Saturn and Neptune, in Pisces, making this epic move over into Aries. And it's happening right now. It's imminent. Nothing can stop it. And it's like the Neptune and Saturn, our reality planet and our dream planet, our spiritual path and our reality path, our how do we dharma path it in 3D, those two planets moving over into Aries together for good, these planets have been dancing around each other for the last year and yet have not come into exact conjunction. It's crazy, the story that is being played out. And it's really important to talk it through so that we understand the epic nature of this current astrology, that we don't want to miss a beat. Because this beat is Mother's heartbeat coming back online, right? Like, she was a dangerous place, but she's being, defibrillated. And she's going to survive, right? Like, she's going to kick off. She's going to just deactivate what's happening right now as a deactivation of the harmful technologies, a reactivation of her harmonic grid. Don't be scared. There's no fear to this. This is natural and normal. And yes, we're doing it a different way, but there is no room for us to have fear. What we're going through is ordained. It's written. We are playing our part, and all we have to do is show up in Mother's garden, in the peace and the calm and the knowing that she's got this, and we get to go with her. And everything feels better in all of those regrets and shame and everything when you just come back into the field of Mother. And just spend a whole day telling her you love her so much and see what your life looks like. Spend a whole day meditating on the Mother Earth's optimal spin ratio and frequencies, that all the technologies, all of the devices out there, no matter what they're doing, all the towers and the frequencies and the Wi-Fi, it is now displaying, operating, and putting forth frequencies, Mother Earth's healing frequencies. Then go right along with the damaging frequencies. Kofefe, just undo it all. It's all possible. These same devices that are ruining our health, controlling our weather, and trying to create Armageddon can be right away reprogrammed right now. Do you want to go to the algorithm and say that technology is used on the humans designed to cause harm? Now emitting Mother Earth's healing frequencies right now. All technologies used for harm or good, emitting Mother Earth's healing frequencies, because we need her grid back and we're here to hold it. And so it's incredibly powerful, but it's incredibly challenging right now. The forces are just trying to hold us back in the past, trying to tell us stories that we failed, that we need to let go of our body to let them have our earth and our reality. You have to understand that this is not a sacrifice of your physical body is not required at this time. We have age regression technologies. We're not being told about this. As long as we're not told about the advanced alien technologies that are being used in our world, they're used against us to control us, to keep us from ever knowing. We are free energy. We are the Tartarians. We've built the most beautiful, powerful temples that, though they may have been destroyed, can never be destroyed. That's why these buildings exist. And I'm sorry, the pioneers did not build these Capitol buildings, these churches, these cathedrals in the Western U.S. It did not happen. There was a previous existence. That previous existence is evidence of free energy. So we're not going to just walk quietly into the night at this point. Too many people know the truth of advanced technologies and what's been stolen from us. So please don't be scared. It's only the end of their grid, of their control. Because we have to come back into this oneness. This Aries point rebirth is an absolute reset of time and the dream together within a couple weeks of each other. This does not happen. It happens right now. And this says, yeah, you're in cycles and cycles of time, and then there's now. And so she just urges us to take advantage of this time to be present as much as possible with her garden, with Mother's ashram, however you want to put it, that we are held and cared for and loved by Mother Earth. We walk in her abundance no matter how much these forces try to create scarcity. It is not the truth. Our buildings still stand that we build with the geometry and the symbols and the codes we need right now for this body, as Earth's body, to reclaim what's been stolen, to stand up and know that we have the original codes that are about to get massively reactivated. There is no fear in this. Yes, we have to go through something. And the thing we go through is a deprogramming of the harmful technologies. And so can you hold space for Mother Earth's grid to come online, to hold us? The grid we built with the pyramids that were meant for ascension and learning and growing and expansion, stolen from us to create catastrophe and weather disorders. It's over now. And so we step through, and that's what this week is about. So the main thing is that Neptune is moving over into what I've been trying to say this whole time is that Neptune, of course, is moving over into Aries on January 27th. Saturn will not be far behind on February 15th. Beautiful Valentine's Day. It's a reset of what's possible. Aries holds the whole kernel, right? It's like that atom cadmium, the divine potential within every embryo, the whole forest and every seed, And so this is what we're activating, is the original, the memory, the seed, the star seeds, so powerful. And so we're kind of gearing up for this in the next couple of days, right? Neptune over the Aries point for good, and then it's going to, this is the thing that I have to talk about right now is that we'll come back around. I know I just go in circles, but this is one of the most important things we need to talk about that is so mysterious and magical and coded, is that in tracking the energy of Saturn and Neptune. So what we're feeling right now is Neptune about to move over the Aries point, both Neptune and Saturn direct. And they have been tracking each other through this retrograde. Both went into Aries, then back into Pisces. It's a lining up of our dreams and our reality. Are you ready? It's the only thing it can mean. Neptune moving into Aries says that the delusions of the past, the delusions of the Piscean age, can no longer stand. That forms and structures built out of the illusions where we're confused about the origin. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they this? Are they that? Are they what? That can no longer stand. It's the truth that reigns with Neptune and Aries. Get ready. Because we have a whole world built on lies. And one of the whole worlds built on lies, unfortunately, for supernovas, us supernova souls realizing this is our ego constructs. Everything in our personality constructs that we have used to survive are no longer needed. And this is a huge shift. I just want to talk to this for a minute, because to go from where everything is working against you and you are just struggling to get day to day through life, and those forces are now coming around, that army of energies that was following, harassing, surveilling, just kind of this kind of energy goes on with all true human souls. Okay, this has been going on. And it's like now they've fallen in love with you and they want to work on your team. They're being reprogrammed. The drones are yours now. It's your army. If they come near you, you have jurisdiction. This is what Mom says. So much of everything that's like going to fall in the house of cards in our world kind of is connected to manipulation of elections in all countries for many years. And a lot of that has happened through electronic voting and the Dominion software. And it's so interesting that this is such a key word for her, for us, is Dominion. She says, you have Dominion as my children, aligned with me as Earth stewards. My warriors, you have dominion. As this technology is being handed back to us, we have dominion. Are you ready? Can you handle it? Can you handle your own creations? Can you be a co-creator? Are you worthy? Is something bad gonna happen? Like, is it all gonna go wrong? Like, this is this Atlantean catastrophe stuff, this overlay trauma, and the technology they have right now. They can target specific areas of our brain so easily because our brain is out here in our field. This is why we need to do the Owning Your Energetic Field course and target certain areas of the brain with actual sensors in your brain as well. Knowing where these areas are to trigger continual trauma response. How can you operate in life? Only if you step back into Mother's garden, you say, all of this energy that is trying to be concerned and surveil what we're doing, you're coming into Mother's garden with us too. Yeah. So get ready. All must come back to her. And we're here. So congratulations. And we're going to be feeling this. Get ready for the tide to return. This scarcity is an artificially created scarcity. So artificial. Going against all the laws and rules of Mother, stealing from you relentlessly and feeding it back to you at a taxed rate. Horrible, horrible practices of usury. But worst for us supernova souls is the usury of our energy, where we continue to allow, because of our big heart and our care and our love, to leak our energy out to forces that were manipulating us, not showing us who they really were. But now we are seeing through it, see? Neptune back in Aries says you can't not see through it anymore. Their masks are slipping and you can see the reptilian skin underneath, And so it's a reckoning and a homecoming, and it's saying, all right, who belongs here and who doesn't? Do you belong here? Is this your earth? Do you know that you were there when you saw and witnessed the inception of her most beautiful dream? Step forward. What are you doing? This is what you're doing. You fight and you live for her. She says the best way to celebrate me is through the creative expression of these gifts within you. Her gifts, our gifts, her gifts within us that we've carried from lifetime to lifetime. And she says, put them into the air, sing the song, tell the word through vibration and frequency. That's how the temples were built. They were sung into existence. And so this is our task with Uranus getting ready to move back into Gemini on April 27th. So this next couple of months is a very crucial time of returning the abundance, receiving it back. You know, it's not enough to say, hey, you stole that. Say, no, now it comes back to us. We can handle it now. The co-creative power that was always ours in the first place, but they didn't want us to know. We've just been duped and tricked. And once you see through that veil, you can't unsee it. And this is what's happening right now. If there's been any doubt in your being of the divine spark that has kept you going over lifetimes, the work in our field of our energy work, our ability to turn on our light, and what the Owning Your Energetic Field course is reminding you can do, that ability does not come from the class. It does not come from this life. It comes from lifetimes of soul work. It is time to step into our inheritance, to say this precious commodity that you have been manipulating away from me for lifetimes is no longer available for you. Only for mom. Only for Mother Earth's dream. And it feels so good. And then immediately everything becomes so clear in front of you. What's in alignment and what's not. Where to put your energy and where not to. One of the things that's resolving a lot for supernova souls is all this manipulative energy and the narcissist. Like, we come on the table, we come clear, we want to put it down and this feeling that's been so inescapable in the events of our world and the people around us, and it's like something is off. You know, something is off. Something is just not right. These people aren't right. This timeline isn't right. The story isn't right. Where are my people? What's going on? And we just had to bury this feeling, and we just had to deal with it. And you have to understand that Neptune moving back into Aries is a reconciliation of this feeling. This is the correction. It's the making it right again. And so wherever in your life you've been tolerating something's a little off, because guess what? When you can't figure out what's going on, it means you're being manipulated. Your energy is being stolen from you while you try to figure out what's going on in the reality that's being presented to you. So take away all our real reality. They present us with some false stories and dramas. We get all engaged because we have nothing else to put our energy into because we've been completely quarantined from actual real supernova souls. And again, we're playing their dirty games. Have you had enough? I've had enough. So let's go. That's what this astrology says. So get this. Saturn and Neptune came almost into conjunction, but not exact. The story of this is so crazy. So this was in July of 2025. Saturn came closer into conjunction with Neptune, and they were both had moved into Aries, and they came together. They were both at 1 degree. But they were at the opposite ends of the sign, except for the closest they came on July 13th through 20th is when, of 2025, they were the closest they came was 13 minutes apart from each other. It's so crazy. You know, talking about there's a degree, and within the degree of the sign of astrology, there's a minute, there's 60 minutes, right? So each degree is in 60 minutes. And then within that minute is when they came within of that degree, they came within 13 minutes of each other at 1 degree, but they never met up. And they were 13 degrees for 7 days. These numbers are crazy. And so, it's really powerful that now you can feel what we're feeling is Neptune getting ready to go over the Aries point, but Saturn catching up to Neptune. They're getting closer and closer. Saturn this week has made it to 28 degrees as of today, the 26th. And so, Neptune is right there at 29. And so they're like encroaching back into this kind of meeting where they never actually all the way met. This is interesting dynamic with intense soulmates. And if that twin flame story is true, if there's anything to that, but intense, powerful soulmates souls, supernova souls, as they come together, especially in their autonomy and the work that they're doing in their field, come together and often will repel at first, right? Because of power. And then it's like they have to kind of come back together with this whole thing. And then it's this beautiful dance of camaraderie and mutual reciprocity and growing and learning together. And then maybe off to connect into the next, kind of union. But that is the picture of the magnetics of what we're doing. So this is exactly what Saturn and Neptune is like. They're all lost soulmate friends, right? And Saturn's been hanging out with the laws and rules. But remember, he got absconded. He got taken over. The black cube of Saturn. It's a black rock at the center of the North Pole, where the four rivers come together. But they made it a black cube, right? That's aligned with the North Star. So the black cube is taking 3D reality and trapping souls to replay and loop-de-loop so that they can just continue to use us as, guess what, power generators. Because just take a moment to just kind of take inventory in your life and think about the characters you've had to deal with in recent years or throughout your life or whatever, where you know that it's like you have a feeling of that something not right. You have a feeling of almost like a guilt, like you don't really want to interact. It doesn't feel quite right, but you do out of guilt or shame, or like you don't have a choice, or it's just easier to give them your energy, right? And so guess what? Can you just, if you line up all those people, right? Are any of them producing anything? Like really producing anything? Or are they piggybacking on your energy, your technology, your love, your power? It's like, as long as you don't know how powerful you are, they can continue to feed on you, on us. I know I'm like guilty. I'm like trying to work this out. I feel so bad, like being your supernova leader and giving my energy away in the way that I have. I'm so sorry that for that transgression. And this is the spacing of ourselves, right? But we also, it's about redemption, like that we came to play the dirtiest games in the dirtiest places so we could clean up the whole world. And it's okay. If we did not feel all the feelings of the human soul, we would never be able to pull them out of this muck. And now we go to the time where we've been broken, we've been healing, we've been falling apart, but our shit is coming together, and we are going to be able to be there strong as this beacon of light, a lighthouse for those around us, saying, I went through there. I went to hell and back, and look, I'm okay. You're going to be okay. Yes, everything around you is dissolving, so you can figure out what really frickin' matters, so we can get going with it, because enough is enough. So this year, so Saturn and Neptune are coming together, getting closer together. Their exact conjunction, or they're going to be at the same degree from February 15th through the 22nd. We started feeling their conjunction on the 29th of December. And so it's like this just kind of impending doom. And yet they don't meet up until after Neptune's in Aries. Neptune's like, poof, new dream. Then we can face Saturn, right? And so they come together for the closest. They get that they will come together. They'll be at 1 degree. So so it's from the 15th to the 22nd that they'll be at the same degree, but they'll come the closest on the 21st of February. Very important day. And they'll come together at 1 degree, 47 minutes. It's just too powerful, these numbers, of what we're doing here. 4 and 6 is 1, 4 and 7 is 11. And so we've just got 11, 11, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Everything is saying there's a new portal gateway opening, but we have to change our vibration. And again, it comes so much back to Uranus and why we're going to feel this massive shift and change as Uranus turns direct in Taurus here on February 4th. So that's when we'll really be feeling, Neptune will be in Aries already, Saturn's still in Pisces. And I think we want to pay attention to the mystical and magical moment that these planets, Saturn and Neptune, come back within 13 degrees. That's as close, 13 minutes. That's as close as they got last year in July. 13 minutes for 7 days. And now they come back into 13 minutes on the 18th of February. Now, this is a very, very important day because it's also Chinese New Year, the year of the fire horse. And to come back at 1 degree of Aries, but in the second part of the degree, meaning on the way to 2, like we're doing this now. We're not messing around. We're not talking about the dream. We're not playing with the dream, visioning the dream. We are living the dream now. Now that's the energy, very powerful in February, but we've also got the whole month of February. We're feeling our personal planets perfectly spaced out, coming into square with Uranus, right? So Uranus turns direct, and immediately the planets, our personal planets, come into square, right? So it's a challenge. Are you worthy? Do you deserve? How much did you transgress? Did you transgress enough to know that you are God again, that you are source, you are mother, that her body is your body, that we are held and safe and loved, and it is time to thrive and get out of this scarcity? That's this Uranus and Taurus. It's like, why have we allowed them to keep us, these forces, in absolute poverty when we know we're so abundant? Only because we don't think we deserve it. But what's our true abundance? Our energetic abundance, our soul abundance, which is the true identity of who we are, supernova souls. And this is what's coming to be revealed. We got that it was being revealed to us beginning in December of 2025 and revealed to the world beginning in May 2026 after Uranus moves into Gemini. So we're in the recapitulation. We're in the reforming, in the beautiful picture of the Arctic shaman, Mother Earth, divine North Pole shaman, ancient goddess, weathered through time. She's breathing life back into our bones. That's what came through the last activation, the Capricorn new moon activation. That was 1 month away from this next new moon on the 18th. Okay, so that February 18th, so powerful because Saturn and Jupiter within 13 minutes. And we've got the new Chinese New Year. And guess what? The new moon in Aquarius is also a solar eclipse. The first eclipse of the Aquarius Leo eclipses that are coming later this year and next year. Because the nodes of the moon have been in the signs of Pisces and Virgo, North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo, since January of 2025. They will be moving into the signs of Leo and Aquarius, or Aquarius and Leo, North Node Aquarius, South Node Leo, on July 1st. Okay, so July is when we've got the third and final square of Jupiter and Chiron, but they will be in their new signs, Leo and Taurus. So this all loops back to this week where we're coming into the energy of the Leo full moon. The Leo full moon giving us a picture, a light to this next 6 months of astrology of what we're doing in rebuilding our whole reality by shining our light and coming forward with the expression that we have within. Guess what? It's an intuitive knowing. It's our divine feminine, leadership, power, visionary, movement, inspiration that needs to come forward. Because we're coming up on this Leo full moon that happens on Sunday, February 1st. And so we'll be doing the activation that day. I hope you can join us. It happens later in the afternoon in Mountain Time. So we'll be doing it that same day, Sunday, February 1st, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And I hope to see you there as we celebrate this Leo full moon. Guess what? This Leo full moon happens at 13 degrees Leo, 4 minutes. 13, the number of M, Mary. The 13th month that's cut out, the 13th sign, the mystery. And 3 and 1 in numerology is 4. It's about establishing an order. This is what we've been missing. Our intuitive order, our emotional order, our resonance with the structures of our life, with Mother Earth's most optimal frequencies. It's like we have this Bermuda Triangle and mechanisms like this, these ancient technologies in Antarctica and Greenland. Guess what? Maybe the same landmass. Taking over the motherboard of Earth with frequencies and spin ratios that are not appropriate to her body. This is the technology in our bodies too. Creating a frequency that just doesn't support our growth. It supports death. It's genocide. And here we are, just walking around in this mud of toxicity. So now we say those technologies on Earth, wherever they are hidden under the ground, we know about them or not, are now in the optimal spin ratio of Mother Earth's frequencies, her forms, her laws, her rules. Mother Earth's healing frequencies. If ever you feel bombarded or overwhelmed by information, noise, frequencies, Wi-Fi, technologies, interference, just reset it in your own field, that it's Mother Earth's healing frequencies. And that prayer and meditation gets bigger and bigger the more we do it. And more of the technologies that we interact with come on board. The Ark, Mother Earth's dream, reimagined and restarted. The magic carpet ride, because it's the original organic dream that we were there. That was the journey of the last activation, that Capricorn new moon activation. We were there at the beginning of the birth of what Mother Earth wanted to become. But guess what? Mother Earth wanted to become this beautiful garden for ascension and take us with her in this journey of ascension. But also we went way far off the track. So we all got way more emotional experience and growth and experiences of different of our personality explorations over lifetimes. So her dream is that beautiful original dream, but it's even richer because of what we've gone through. And we're claiming and owning this richness, this wealth as our own, right here, right now. So it's powerful because Leo is a leadership energy, shining your light, expressing yourself, expressing your gifts, having confidence, going out there in the world. And yet at 13 degrees with this mother energy and Mary Magdalene and the intuitive knowing, the wisdom Sophia of Earth, this is saying that it's that wisdom, that leadership, that authority, the mother's authority reestablished on Earth in order for us to move forward, because it's 13 minutes, 13 degrees, 4 minutes for a number of establishing, right? So 13, which also the 4, it's establishing a new order so we can turn the motor back on, right? 88 miles per hour. Let's go. Let's do this. We are not beholden to this place. And the fear programming that comes up around making a transition from the state that you're in now to your ascended state, there's no fear there. There's not the end of anything besides what's false. And so we have to know that any of the fear and anxiety that comes up is programming. It's just programming. It is not true. It is not real. Mother Earth is not worried about this. She has got this. If we walk with her, every step, her garden, every breath, her garden, Mother's ashram growing up and around us in our energy field. We win. We already won. And now we just move through, step through. It can be harmonious and beautiful the way it's meant to be. Her original dream had nothing less than perfection for us. Now we go to go back to perfection with all the facets of the pieces of all we've experienced. Amazing jewels and treasures. Glorious unpacking of this with each other as we walk forward and demonstrate, to the world what this has really been all about. It's glorious. But this month we have to face where we don't feel worthy of it. And it's like Uranus turning direct, but then right into these squares. So on the 5th and 6th, Uranus square Mercury takes his turn, square Uranus. On the 8th and 9th, Venus. On the 16th, the Sun. And then Mars for the 27th, 28th at the very end. Mercury at the very beginning, Mars at the very end. And that Mars square Uranus, like Mars coming off of the Pluto conjunction and then square Uranus in Taurus, is saying, all right, the motor has been refurbished and it's time to pull the ripcord, right? Mars is ready to go. So Mars square Uranus, the effect of that will last through the 3rd of March. And it's like, we're really just kind of, but this whole thing, now this is when we're going to be in eclipse season, because this is our last moon. The Leo full moon on February 1st is the last lunation before the eclipse season, which is the official start of eclipse season. Then we have a solar eclipse on February 17th at 28 degrees Aquarius. That's the Chinese New Year. And then we have a lunar eclipse, which is a total lunar eclipse, very powerful, at 12 degrees of Virgo on Tuesday, March 3rd. And so these eclipses and Chinese New Year are just all about moving us into the new, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, Uranus about to move back into Gemini, everybody's moving again, and yet we've got another Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde is happening in Pisces, and it's telling us that this is our time to complete the reworking of the Piscean age. We're completing it now. This is your last little bit, because the nodes are only going to be in Pisces into July, right? At the beginning of July 1st. So we just have these months left, these 5 months left to really complete the Piscean age. And so Mercury retrograde from 8 degrees to 22 degrees. Any supernovas with mutable planets and mutable signs from 8 degrees to 22 degrees, and especially at those markers, very much affected by this Pisces retrograde. And it is a complete, this is the Knights of the Templar reactivated back to go steal their gold back, and they're like back and they're like activated. They know they're mother's warriors, they're healed, they're whole, and they're ready to go get the goods. And so that's the energy of this retrograde happening at the same time as eclipse season, because Mercury goes into retrograde shadow February 12th. So get your ducks in a row by then, kind of make your directions. We can't plan much of anything in this new world the way we used to, but you can have indications, directions, feel things out, get those things in order, things you need to do before mid-February when Mercury goes into shadow, because then we kind of have to ride out this Pisces retrograde. And we'll still have the North Node in Pisces. And so it's kind of like the final hurrah of this Pisces reworking. And that Mercury retrograde is going to be powerful and intense for that we cannot get to the miracles and the magic of the Piscean age until we face all of the grief, all the pain, and most of all, the lies. All designed for one thing, to keep us from knowing who we are. I think it might be time to really know who we are. Can we handle it? Can you handle knowing what you've done and who you've been and what you stand for and all the gifts and experiences you have? Do you deserve it? Of course you do. It's yours. No one else can use it. So we got to get over this hump of scarcity versus abundance, right? Like the world is showing us massive scarcity, but we are coming into massive abundance. We have everything we need in our energy field. And this owning your energetic field is so, so important. The bigger group we have doing this work, the better. So please reach out to me if you'd like to be a part of it and be on a payment plan or get a reduced rate for the class. Very, very helpful. This 9-week class, Saturdays, happening live Saturday mornings in Mountain Time. step by step through the chakras, learning our energy anatomy, our aura, all the layers of our aura, the understandings of these issues of each chakra, clearing, healing, understanding, mostly triggering the memory of this technology you have in your very own body so that you can seal it up. So we can seal it up. So we can vibrate so high that the nanotech is just absolutely deactivated and cleansed from our system. So that we're no longer beholden to the frequency fence and the quarantine and the false, fake reality that we have been fed when we know there's so much more. And now we live this more. That's kind of the energy of our personal planets coming up to Pluto, which has been happening. Venus was his first one to meet Pluto on the 20th, the Sun on the Mercury on the 23rd, the Sun on the 24th, and then Mars on the 28th. So this week, we've got Mars and Pluto. Of course, Pluto's an exact sextile to Black Moon Lilith in Sag, or Black Moon Lilith will be moves to 4 degrees today. So Pluto and sextile to Black Moon Lilith is coming off. But it's crazy, all these personal planets coming into conjunction with Pluto, meeting the teacher on the top of the mountain in Aquarius. Pluto having just returned to where he turned retrograde. Pluto comes out of shadow on the 5th of February, right? So we got Uranus turning direct, all this happening, and also we have Pluto coming out of retrograde shadow. Pluto out of retrograde shadow means returning to where he started the retrograde, meaning that every day past February 5th, it's new territory. Are you ready? In Aquarius. And Pluto is saying, where are our leaders, our visionary leaders? And so to meet one by one, our planets coming together to meet Pluto on the mountain is this activation, initiation, clearing of all fear programming around who we are and what we're here to do, so that we can walk forth on the path and co-create and feel worthy, right? Going along with that. Uranus turning direct at the same time. It's so powerful that our personal planets come up with Pluto just as he's about to get out of retrograde shadow into new territory, and it's kind of like, come on, Pluto, let's go. We're ready now. We're initiated. We're ready. We're ready to stand in our truth, live in our abundance, walk in Mother's garden, and create her ashram wherever we go. So that's really powerful. And the last one, like I said, is Mars and Pluto, putting the motor on the boat. And so we've also got Mercury catching up to Venus on the 28th and the 29th. So we've got Mercury and Venus together at the middle of Aquarius. Pluto and Mars together at 3 degrees. In sextile to Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, no more darkness covering our dream. It's a reawakening of the great and sacred quest of what we've all been working on the whole time, is Mother Earth's dream. And they've tried to steal her, and they've tried to kill her, and have raped and taken all of her resources and energy under our watch. So no wonder we feel regret and failure. But this is all healing now. The only way we can put ourselves back together, Mother Earth's field back together, is to heal this wound of separation and all these feelings of regret and failure. How can we walk on our mother, our most glorious manifest goddess, and receive this incredible love from her when we couldn't stand by her in the hardest times? So we reconcile all this within us, because the only way forward is to come back into wholeness with her, which means facing our disparate parts. All this astrology's been talking about it. All of our personal planets coming together, to put together our pieces so we can stand united against the common enemy. Find the deeper truths in what's going on so that we're not against each other, and recognize that the only thing you're against is the constructs of the lower realities that are based in fear and lies, which are now dissolving. Everything dissolving. So if we want all the lies and fear to dissolve in our world, then we clearly need to be able to say yes to that in our lives. And also that means the dissolving of most of the structures, turning to dust, all the things that we thought we cared about or needed to have our own in our lives, and also a necessary part. So there's this great redemption, this great, coming forward, this great feeling the regrets and the grief and the failure, and then there's the facing of the truth of the abundance, and then the activation of the strength within that we need to get back on that quest. And so it's so powerful this week that we've got Mars and Pluto, the final conjunction of our personal planet. Final conjunction with Pluto of our personal planets. Mercury catching up to Venus, the final conjunction of our personal planets together. And we also have the Leo full moon starting eclipse season. And we also have Neptune moving over into the sign of Aries. Incredibly powerful week here. And just know, then of course we've got on the 4th Uranus direct, and on the 5th Pluto moving into new territory. So it's all coming together. Months and months, years and years, lifetimes and lifetimes of this experiences and this evolution right here, right now. So do your part to put yourself back together. Take care of your body like her body. Feel the feelings so you can release these lower vibrations and energies. Detox on all levels so that you can choose what's triggered in your brain and your psyche and your consciousness. Please consider being a part of that, owning your energetic field. A great help for me right now as well, in a time of need. Your financial support, so helpful. Thank you so much for your donations and coming forward with your support and being a part of the SuperNova Soul Tribe, which gets you into both activations, the new and the full moon activation, each month for $20 a month. And also the SuperNova Soul Tribe is how we're going to be connecting with each other, finding each other, and getting together finally in the groups, now that we have permission to walk in remembering. And so please connect with us, be in contact with me, and know that we're all here together. The call is only going to get stronger. So there's no avoiding it or denying it. And it's a call to drop everything, let it turn to dust, turn away from all that has been feeding upon you, keeping you from knowing that you are the producer of it. So you are the producer of life. They didn't want you to know. They had to keep you feeling really, really small so they could continue to make use of what you're producing without you realizing that they were piggybacking on you. They've been piggybacking on you. You are the source. Mary Magdalene showed us this. We had a vision and she showed us, she said, I have what everyone wants. And now everything changes. Perhaps Mother Earth is going through this teenager rebellion and awakening, saying, oh, you guys, you've been playing your dark, dirty boy games, patriarchal wars and destruction, everything beautiful built, destroyed for long enough now. And we have to go back to her way if you want to continue as a participant in this experience. And we stand as her guard every moment in our authority. Our authority comes from the sovereignty in our field, knowing that who we are is actually projected out here. It's been infiltrated through energies, frequencies, vibrations, entity attachments, and ancestral programming. And the Owning Your Energetic Field course goes step by step through clearing, healing, removing these things, but also activating the potential within and reminding you. So please consider being a part of that Owning Your Energetic Field course. Reach out to me if you can't afford it, but you'd like to make donations along the way. That would be wonderful, and to have you with us. So thank you so much for your support and for understanding this, the intensity, the truth, the brevity of this information, so that we can stand at the ready to make this leap into the new. Incredibly powerful times. And so know that this is a massive culmination right here, right now, that Neptune as a rebirth, a restart of the original dream of Mother Earth, the full potential, the full embryonic potential of man in ascension, being reborn. That's happening. Now, when these happen, And looking at the other astrology, it tells us the bigger story. So we've got Mars, Pluto. Mars, our warrior, getting his activation and initiation from Pluto. Mars, our warrior, has our greatest strength and our greatest fear. And our masculine, the most stunted, most misunderstood, most in an underappreciated part of ourselves, getting kicked back into gear because he knows what he fights for now. Now, the other thing is Mercury and Venus catching up to each other for the final conjunction. Mercury, after everything he's gone through, trying to catch up to Venus, to be like, girl, I got a message for you. I went to the catacombs. I went to the depths. I saw the hidden scrolls, and it's true. You are our savior. The mother, we've all been talking about her the whole time. When we say God, when we say Jesus, in this manifest world. And what happens if we have a spiritual revelation of Christ consciousness through the feminine, through our intuition, feeling it viscerally in our body, falling back in love, having the ecstatic experience of existence that life is meant to be, the awakening of our higher chakras, the release of oxytocin and DMT created by our very own body, the revelation is cooking up our energy field and stepping into our authority and our power. So thank you so much for being with me in these ideas, in these practices. Do you want to pull your weight? Do you want to do the work to show up and be that integral part of the puzzle piece? Not just follow along, and rest on the laurels of those before you, but stand and take your place. To do the work, show up and say, I'm not scared, I'm ready now. I'm ready to be seen, I'm ready to be heard. And that requires fearlessness. And that is exactly what's happening with our personal planets coming into that conjunction with Pluto. So powerful, because remember, there's also the sextile with Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius. Black Moon Lilith is saying the original dream. What's the darkness that's kept us from the quest? Sagittarius is the quest back to mother, the quest back to source, the quest of the hero's journey back to wholeness and oneness. And the reason why we do anything, the bigger, wider dream. If regular humanity right now that's just trapped in the reacting to the news, if they saw just a little bit of the bigger arc of the dream of this evolution, everything would change. So the only thing holding us back is information and frequency. And that's us. We're the holders of the codes. Stand there. Just survive, thrive, take care of yourself, love yourself, trust. I know it's so hard. We're being tested at every turn, but it's only because you are a producer of actual energy, a generator. You're not a bystander, so stop acting like one. Stand up and do your part. Come forward. Be here. Meet at the table. You're being called. And those that want to follow you are being called to you. And part of the deal with these planets coming together in Capricorn, was like, this is our authority. It's serious. It's time for all the work we've done over many lifetimes to start paying off. And this is our inheritance, our abundance. Again, it's not enough to say, hey, you stole that. It's like, nope, you got to give it back sevenfold. That's a lot, because you've been the producer all along. They just don't want you to know, but you kept producing. Even when they fed on you and degraded you and took you down to the lowest place in your energy level, violating you and your body and your field with this nanotechnology that's been going on for 20 years in SuperNova souls with autoimmune disorders, farming your life force, your calcium channels, sucking all of your life force from you, hoping you wouldn't figure it out. Guess what? This is the time. And we do it through our field, right? Of course, we want to detox our bodies, but really it's in our field. And it's so powerful because it's like Mother Earth is in this place with the Jupiter square Chiron of self-preservation. And we must be in a place of self-preservation in our energy field. No more feeding If there's only the self, this is all that's real. There's only the oneness, there's only the self. You only have charge of this. And I don't know how we got on this erroneous journey, and I'm sorry for that of the self-sacrifice, of cutting ourselves into pieces when we can only move forward in evolution and wholeness of the whole self. We're only in charge of this part. This is all we can work on. And we've just leaked it all out because of our big hearts. I don't know. It all comes back, doesn't it? And it's a strange place with Jupiter retrograde right now after all these squares and all this intensity. And it's like all the resources are just being sucked away, you know, like the tide just going out. And yet, is that because it's about to come back in that tenfold way? You know, the mother's way, Yahweh, the center way, the truth, her rules, her laws. It's the tenfold way. It's 10 times abundance. I don't know what that means, but I'm glad that you guys do. So thank you so much for being here and for your support. This is so powerful. We're going to be doing soul group sessions, very powerful sessions for the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. So watch out for those. This is group intuitive sessions looking at shared past life pictures. We're ready to find out who we are and know more about the only way to know our marching orders moving forward. It's like we've been kept in this box of fear over knowing who we are because we don't want to take responsibility. But it's a glorious road. When we know who we are and we accept it and we stand into our authority in that way, all can unfold in front of us. The golden road, all the support we've been looking for all along. Once we just fully acknowledge and begin to use the energies in the way they're meant to be used. The stress, the tension, the issues, the distractions, the news, the dramas, not how our energy is meant to be used. And I know I'm guilty of this more than anyone, perhaps, you know? But what is our energy supposed to be used for? She says it goes back to that creative expression of her laws and your gifts and her laws and creative expression. Oh, that's very different from working harder and harder and harder to make less and less and less, isn't it? Oh, what a conundrum we're in. And it's powerful, though, because we're here together and we know that nothing can stop our coming together in the glorious caravan of the light worker energy, the supernova souls unleashed in their power, walking across these countries, these lands, activating, reactivating Mother Earth's sacred chakras together in ceremony, dancing, singing, playing, bringing the news, being the demonstration project of the new technologies, which are the old technologies, and all of these sacred spiritual truths, demonstrating the joy and the bliss and the solutions, the healing that's available that has so long been suppressed. You know, restarting all the healing centers times 1,000 that have been stolen from us, and bringing back Mother Earth's dream. Thank you for participating. So powerful, this journey. In February, Neptune over the Aries point, all the personal planets square Uranus. Do you deserve? Are you good enough? Can you handle it? You know, are you worthy of this massive, massive abundance? And then we move into it with Saturn going into Pisces on the 15th, and the new road is laid out ahead. A big shift coming on March 3rd when we have that, that's that total lunar eclipse, and that's also when Jupiter is getting ready to turn direct on the 11th. And then not until the beginning of June that Jupiter will be coming out of retrograde shadow. So this is when we have our new home and our new direction. And so it's very, very powerful. And then we know July, the final square, and that's also when the nodes shift signs and everything changes and we move forward. We step into the co-creation of the dream. Everyone else can do what they want, but we're with her, and the golden road is opening, and we rise to it, and we step into the possibilities that lie ahead. So thank you so much, Supernova Souls. I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for your support. There's links to donate in the donation box below. If you appreciate this ad-free space, you can help me through these difficult times of being on the front line and fighting here for you, for us, as we move through into the new possibilities. Thank you so much. I love you so much. We'll see you the next update, hopefully the Leo full moon activation next Sunday, February 1st. I can't wait to be with you in these energies as we celebrate stepping through this threshold moment. We made it. We're here. And thank you so much for all you've gone through to be a part of it. It will not go unrewarded. And we celebrate this together, our inheritance of our abundance. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.